Ever feel like you suck at this job? Motherhood, I mean. Have too much anxiety and not enough patience? Too much yelling, not enough play? There's no manual, no village, no guarantees. The stakes are high. We want so badly to get it right. But this is survival mode. We're just trying to make it to bedtime. So if you're full of mom guilt, your temper scares you, you feel like you're screwing everything up, and you're afraid to admit any of those things out loud, this podcast is for you. This is Failing Motherhood. I'm Danielle Bettman, and each week we'll chat with a mom ready to be real, sharing her insecurities, her fears, her failures, and her wins. We do not have it all figured out. That's not the goal. The goal is to remind you, you are the mom your kids need. They need what you have, you are good enough, and you're not alone. I hope you pop in earbuds, somehow sneak away, and get ready to hear some hope from the trenches. You belong here, friend. We're so glad you're here. Hey, it's Danielle. If you're new here, I help defeated parents find validation, support, and proven techniques to parent their strong-willed kids with composure, connection, confidence, and cooperation through a 3-month group coaching program based on the wholehearted framework I've developed over years of working with families one-on-one. I have an early childhood and elementary teaching degree. I'm certified in positive discipline, and I have 2 daughters. If you've just found the podcast, go to failingmotherhood.com to view a playlist of our most listened to episodes, as well as where to start if you have a strong-willed child. Before we dive into all sorts of unconventional, non-messy, non-annoying gifts that your kids are going to play with for months and years to come, I want to share a quick word from a recent graduate of my program, Verena, and her husband, Antonin.
The other approaches I had tried were just steps towards this goal of having a more calm household. When I did Laura Markham, it was all about peaceful parenting. That works for certain types of children. So I felt fine with that until I had Peter, and then it wasn't at all working. And then I did therapy on myself to just find where my triggers are. And part of my journey has been just learning how to calm myself down and know why I'm so triggered by different behaviors and where that comes from and how I was raised. So that was my therapy. And then the next step is wholeheartedly, which was, it also laid the foundation for my self-care, but also specifically how to help my son, Peter, and the different systems that you introduce, and how much they need a bit more of control and how to be kind and firm. That I just don't feel that the Laura Markham's, the Peaceful Parenting course, that I got it at that point, So this was just a great course that also got my husband and myself on the same path of parenting, because Antonin was never comfortable with the peaceful parenting. He really needed something with more structure, more firmness, more boundaries. It's done 2 things. It's really helped Peter, and it's also we've joined forces with my husband. So the benefits have been amazing. Overall, Peter has really improved. Our house is very different. He still has a lot of explosions. And now that big brothers are back from holiday, all the kind of the frustration is back. But I can see him now. I'm not just overwhelmed. I'm not so in my head about how I'm feeling as a mother. It's more like this course gave me the opportunity to just know my child, know his heart, know his struggles, that see how much he's struggling and not so much how I'm struggling or his brothers are struggling. It's more just what's going on in his little head. It's allowed me to connect with him in a very profound way. And it's also helped me communicate with him. So we're having much deeper conversations about what he struggles with, with the whole circling back. Yeah, it's been great. I'm so happy. I'm so thankful. I'm so sad that it's finishing.
The course has just been invaluable. Yeah, and I didn't believe it either, but he does. He goes to bed, he goes, good night, and then he goes to sleep by himself. Like, it's just insane. This is like not something that is real, right? I'm kind of just waiting for this to blow apart a little bit, right? And it may, that's okay, right? But just to see how this all works, right? And also the resiliency, I find nothing's like getting way out of control. Peter's having his little moments here and there, but it's nothing that you're just like, oh, I can't handle this. I'm gonna fucking throw the towel in and just walk away. What the hell, right? It's not that anymore. It's like, oh, this is happening. Take a deep breath. The BMW, right? And then it just comes straight. It's such an incredibly empowering feeling to be able to together as a couple create that foundation, that unwavering confidence and commitment that you have to your kids. Thank you. Thanks everyone for all of this. I know that I wasn't here the whole time, but it's been a really amazing process to be part of.
Okay, you're back. So if I sound a little bit different, I upgraded some of my equipment. I got new headphones, I got a new microphone. Sometimes it's working with my computer, sometimes it's not. I have been trying to problem solve it all weekend, but I think it's working for right now. At least I hope so. I hope I don't record this whole episode and have to do it again. I will let you know if I do. But the holidays are quickly approaching, if you haven't already noticed. And if you have at least one strong-willed child on your list, you want to wow them without breaking the bank and seeing your investments lying in the toy graveyard 2 months from now, taking up space or making a mess, never to be played with again. Am I right? So I got you today. The best toys, the ones that they will actually love, are not the ones that they probably circle in the catalog or they beg you to have because they saw them at a friend's house. That Paw Patrol, laser pointer, or what have you, they have their time and place. Absolutely. Have the grandparents get them that. But over the years, I have prided myself on balancing out those trendy, kind of play with it a few times gifts with practical, unconventional ideas. And the way that I would communicate that was I would set up an Amazon wish list and then send the link to grandparents and say, these are the ideas that I have for the girls this year. And they would always be a little bit unique, but they would be still really fun to open. And I think that's the hard thing with if you're wanting to be more minimalistic or you're wanting to declutter a whole lot and you realize that your kids have a ton of toys, so you're trying to downsize, you know that they would play better with less, but at the same time, getting them an experience gift, it's just not as fun. We get it, especially if you're trying to give that idea to grandparents. They want to see them open a present and be thrilled. And I know how hard that can be when you're like, hey, we got a zoo membership. And they're like, cool. They'll love it when we go, but it's not as fun to open. So the things that I'm going to share are right on that line of balancing that out. So I've compiled in this episode and in a blog post and in an Amazon wish list, a list of mostly unconventional items that your strong-willed child is going to lose their mind for. They will continue playing with these things for months. They're not super expensive. They're not super messy. They're not annoying. And they're still fun to watch them open. So I'm going to preface this episode before I dive into all the ideas with my 5 rules for buying gifts. Number 1, gifts have no gender. Toys have no gender. You know your child, you know what they are interested in, what their personality is, and their age best. So, birth order, sibling order, so many, whatever TV channel they watch, so many other things will dictate what lights them up more than just pink or blue. So as I list through all of these items, there is not a boy section or a girl section. You just take what you like from the list and save the rest for later. Number 2, follow your child. Just because a toy is deemed great doesn't mean that they'll play with it. You need to bring in some classic things that you want to expose them to. but then customize it around what you know that they love. Number 3, the more a toy does, the less a child learns. What I mean by that is the more a toy just sits there, the more the child has to engage their imagination and creativity to play with it. So where electronic toys are super fun, their value is generally more for entertainment than education, which again, there's a time and place. They are a parenting tool, perfect for car trips. That's great. But the more open-ended the toy's use is, the better. So that means if a toy can only be used in a particular way, like it is a bath toy where you can only use it when you put water down this chute and then this thing changes color, but that's it, then it doesn't leave a whole lot of room for open interpretation. So they're going to get bored with it pretty quickly because they'll have played out that scenario and then moved on. So you want open-ended things that just sit there. That way it engages a lot more of their brain and can be used in a million different ways. And that multi-purpose aspect will keep them coming back to it. Number 4, frankly, you get what you pay for. And I'm sure you know that at this point. And that is something that you use in your decision making, but you don't always need quality. So you decide what and when you are going to buy for durability and quality, because it does pay to invest in those pieces like a play kitchen that you're going to have 3 kids go through, or a bike that you'll want to pass on to a sibling or resell. You know, the toys that are wooden are going to be the ones that last much longer. But if you're in a bind or it's just something that you know is just going to get you through, go ahead and just get what's on your list that they will love, right? You get what you pay for. And number 5, make sure you are offering them opportunities to reach every domain. And what I mean by that is they need practice with their fine motor skills, building strength in their fingers. So that's puzzles, Legos, Play-Doh, beads, blocks, holding a pencil, that kind of stuff. Large motor, building balance, strength, and flexibility in the whole body, right? So jumping, riding, running, ball play. And then when you're playing pretend, I kind of classify it as whole body and figure. So whole body pretend play is the play kitchen, the tent, the dress-up clothes. Figure reenactment is cars, animals, little people, a dollhouse, a farm, an airport, that kind of stuff. So especially if they aren't in a school setting yet, just making sure that you have a well-rounded option of toys that they can pick from that offers those learning opportunities throughout those 4 domains. And then you're good. So that's my 5 rules. So let's dive in. Shout out to @CrayGardens on TikTok. I came across one of her TikToks that said, here's a list of inexpensive items that your child's going to love for Christmas. And that's what kind of got me inspired to start this list. There were a few things that people were sharing in the comments of that video that were brilliant. And so we are running with that theme. And I'm taking it into the lens of you're buying for a strong-willed child. And what I know about a strong-willed child is going to create an overall theme here. So while we're always going to recommend the classics, the things that I'm recommending today are going to give them a feeling of being big or being a grown-up, giving them the opportunity to be the boss in some way, or feel important or in control while they're playing. Because remember, if we don't proactively give them outlets to get this very real need met, we leave it up to them and they'll find a way, but it won't be mutually beneficial. So find in the show notes the link to the blog post where I list these things out and connect you to Amazon. Again, I'm not famous enough to have any type of commission for this, just sharing it so it's more accessible for you as you go shopping in the weeks to come. So, like I just said, There are classics, especially for fine motor, that I will recommend for every single child I ever work with or meet. Things like magnetiles. They're one of my number ones. Sets of hard or soft animals to set around and play. Little people sets. A dollhouse. Little play figurines for the Bluey house or PJ Masks or whatever their thing is. Having all of the figures. Jenga blocks even are super multi-purpose for setting up a parking lot or a zoo. Or Shopkins, if they're old enough and you don't have a sibling that will choke on them. My girls could not play with Shopkins more because they were so versatile for all of the things that they used them for. So those are the classics that are just a given, okay? But now as I go through, I'm going to kind of add on to a theme of maybe something that you already knew about your child and that got you started. And I'm going to add on to that with some other things you maybe haven't thought of or things that would really maximize that are more practical, more inexpensive, that are really going to make them awesome in your child's mind and last and be so cool. So I'll start there. And again, this theme does not have to put anybody in a box. This doesn't have to apply to you. I just wanted to categorize it some fun way. But as you go through, listen to what's going to light up your child and just go ahead and hit add to cart when you can. So if you know your child would love something like a play kitchen with food, or they already do, what about adding those little receipt pads, the restaurant receipt pads that a waitress at a diner would use? Oh my gosh, they would love that. They could turn it into a restaurant, right? Then you could get them a cash register. You could get them play money. You could get them a kitchen timer that they set, for the chef. You should have a visual timer anyway for behavior, but adding that in. And then there's a really cool website that allows you to create personalized checks. If your kid probably doesn't even know what checks are, but you can customize the theme and the coloring and their name on it, and they can write them out. So if you have a child that is writing at all, super fun to just print out a couple pages worth, cut them up, and put them in a little wallet or something. So much fun. And that's going to cost just what it costs in printer ink, right? So that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying, all right, well, where can we run with this idea and make it so cool, especially for a strong-willed child who wants to feel like the boss, like they're in control, like they are so big. So next idea. You may have thought of Hot Wheels or a train set, right? What if you also added a stopwatch, like one of those that like a football coach in a high school movie would use for sprints, one of those clicker stopwatches, old school style? What if you added a clicker counter with a roll of tickets, like the raffle type tickets? You can get all this stuff on Amazon. It's so cool. We just don't even think about it. So a little clicker counter and tickets where they could create a race. You could get them painter's tape or road tape with little street signs to set up the race, and maybe even caution tape for the construction that's happening, or if there's, an area that you're not supposed to go in. That's the kind of stuff that elevates it to the next level, where they get so creative when you bring in these truly inexpensive practical elements, right? So for your child that loves art supplies and might thrive in corporate America one day, get them just legit a full pack of printer paper, like straight from Office Depot. They will feel so amazing. Go to the Dollar Tree, get a pack of different sizes of envelopes, small envelopes, large envelopes. Get some legal pads. Get a real clipboard, not a kid's one, but like a big size brown one that feels very formal and important. Get them some Post-its. Can't go wrong there. Maybe some gel pens or some washi tape in some cool colors, some of their favorite colors. A whiteboard with dry erase markers. You can never go wrong with that. And a legit pencil sharpener and maybe some colored pencils. Like a pencil sharpener that's maybe even like the old school style. They would feel so cool. Can you imagine if you're a kid, right? Like that would be so exciting. So I'm pulling this from, I went and scrolled all of my photos from a while back and just searched toys and play and looked at what I could find on our Google account. And I was that mom that let my kids have art supplies at their level, very young, and I paid for it with a mess. But you know what? My house is super clean now. It only lasts so long. And they loved it. I loved seeing what they created with, and they went so deep for so long in that play. And that's the goal when you can handle it, sanity wise. So if you know your child loves money, maybe they are all about this concept or wanting to earn it or wanting to spend it or just know that it's like the hot, cool thing, then they would also go crazy for a new wallet or a bag, a piggy bank if they don't have one already, a calculator, like a legit high schooler type one, and gift cards. Gift cards they can spend on treats like the yogurt shop, donut shop, ice cream shop, cookie shop, and Target. Can't go wrong with a Target gift card for your teacher, Target gift card for your child. Never a bad idea. Never a bad gift. What about for your child that you know they already love or would love a doctor play set? You know, like with all the little gadgets and gizmos. They sell legit real stethoscopes on Amazon that you can get. And my daughter found these reusable ace bandages in all different colors where you can just wrap them and unwrap them and wrap them again. No wrappers. You know, use them as many times as you need. They just kind of stick to themselves. Perfect for playing doctor, for rehabilitating stuffed animals. That's how they were used in my house. Get him a box of Band-Aids just for play, just for the emergencies of the imaginary kind. Get them like a pack of medical gloves that we all had in COVID, and maybe even a watch, like a digital watch or old school watch, something that just makes them feel so important. Throw in a clipboard here too. All doctors need a good clipboard. What about for your child that loves their baby doll or is in a phase of desperately needing someone or something to be in charge of? Maybe they have a new sibling around the house, so you're trying to focus this energy. Add in the accessories. A carrying car seat, a little wrap so they can wear the baby, a high chair so they can feed the baby, a play stroller so they can walk the baby, and this last one you may not have thought of, a potty chair for the doll. Because if they are at all around the age of before or after potty training, it feels really good to tell the doll what to do, that she needs to go. So that was a big thing that was right next to ours, and they were always making the doll go. So that's going to be a hit no matter what. What about for your child that loves making potions or soup? If you know, you know. My strong-willed daughter was one of those. She just wanted to make things. So lean in. Get the stuff for it so that they don't use yours. Get some really, really inexpensive herbs, just a couple of them that, look cool when they're shaken into things. Get a cheap oil or two. Get some tea bags that they can use or open. Get some little bottles from like a dollar store, some measuring spoons, funnels, a basket to collect flowers or things into, maybe even a tea party set so you can have the tea, serve the crumpets, and a magic wand and cape, just because. Other things this child might love would be a gem set, like tumbled gems, that are the really inexpensive type crystals that you get from a little gem store, but they come in a little pouch bag and they're really pretty and shiny. They would love. Maybe even a magnifying glass to inspect them or look for them in the backyard with a little shovel. Definitely a flashlight, like a legit flashlight, and maybe a treasure box. I'm sure that would be at the dollar store too. Or one of those National Geographic gem or fossil sets where they have to like chisel them out. Those were a big hit at my house. We had a big fossil season where they went and, just found things, rocks in the backyard and rehabilitated them. So if that's your child and they also love helping you in the kitchen, which is so nice sometimes when you have the patience, then you could think about getting a kitchen tower stand, which is so key. That was our snack spot, breakfast spot, just so nice to feel like they're a little bit contained and safe in that space. If you don't know what that is, I will, have pictures and things linked. Safe cooking knives. They can have knives really, really young. They just need to be, plastic serrated ones. There's great options out there. I will link the ones that we have. A small whisk or a spatula, cupcake liners. There's really small, kind of like seasonal waffle irons that are really easy, to teach a child to use safely. Sprinkles, I know they're expensive, more on the expensive end, but you can't go wrong. And we have really, really loved the America's Test Kitchen cookbooks for young chefs. And I will link both ones that we have. If your child has all of the energy, then they would love a tumbling mat or a gymnastics bar to hang on, the Nugget, of course, or various offshoots and off-brand options of that, a small trampoline or, a giant one for the backyard if you really want to splurge, a Skynook swing, one of those swings that you see in all of the Instagram ads, or a tunnel or a tent. There's those little forts that can be blown up with like a box fan too. Those are really fun, perfect size, easy to stash away. See also, this child might also love a digital drum set with headphones. That's the key point. We have this at my house. You have to plug in headphones so that nobody else hears the chaos. A big wheel. Don't forget, those are still a thing. And they're really fun for strong-willed kids. A razor scooter. Orange traffic cones. You can find those. They're very cool. And if the weather applies, their own snow shovel. Because let's use some of that energy for good. If your child would also live outside, if they could, then let's get them the really practical good weather or bad weather stuff. So stuff like really good rain boots, their own sized and custom favorite color umbrella and raincoat, a watering can, sunglasses, binoculars, a legit bubble maker, a birdhouse that you can decorate or put together, walkie-talkies, Nerf guns or water blasters. And if you're also a traveling family, then you might want really legit sleeping bags or camping chairs that are their size, hammocks, or kid-size hot chocolate mugs, maybe the ceramic open kind or a to-go cup for when you're driving around looking at lights. If your child loves a good night in at home, more of the introverted variety, then they, like my daughter, would love their favorite animal as a hooded jumpsuit. Think Halloween costume, but for every day, more cozy and comfortable. You can find them on Amazon in every variety. My daughter has been an animal every year for Halloween. So we have a lot of these, and she loves being a ferocious lion or whatever the variety is of the day. There is cute mermaid tail blankets. You can get fun new water bottles or straws. You can really splurge and at the grocery store get those single-serve juices with the characters on top. You know the ones you always say no to. You can get those. You can get some new containers for popcorn or ice cream bowls. You can get the kid-safe nail polish, some new scrunchies or clips, hair chalk or temporary hair dye. Go crazy with that. Makeovers one night. Get some bath crayons or bath bombs, a new hooded bath towel, or, of course, some motorized toothbrushes. The ones that are, so super cool. If your child is not sleeping in their own room most nights, then you need to invest in some things that are really going to make it fun and cozy and feeling safe. So you can start with some new fun bed sheets, a weighted blanket, some rope lights, maybe some glow-in-the-dark stars, old school style, or maybe a night light that shows the stars right above it and kind of projects them. We have one that's really cool. A bed tent, which is kind of just how you that's going to be linked. You might not envision it, but it's kind of a cool, helps it feel enclosed over their bed. And a Yodo box, if you haven't heard of that, Google that. Or some type of speaker that allows them to listen to some audio bedtime stories. See also maybe a robe, slippers, an eye mask, Squishmallows. Can't ever go wrong with Squishmallows. Or a hammock if they already have too many stuffed animals. One of those storage hammocks that you hang in a corner and then they can throw all their stuffies into one of those. We have those, and that was a lifesaver. If your child wishes it was their birthday every day, don't we all, especially strong-willed kids, then consider how much they would love a giant roll of bubble wrap. That can be a gift, y'all. A pack of colored streamers, one of every color. A giant roll of craft paper to just do whatever they want with. See also giant empty box. Maybe you can get one from something else you're buying this season. Balloons, supervised of course, but playing keepy uppy or something. And some pictures of them in a photo book. That would really make them feel special and like it's their birthday every day. And then when your child needs to know that they have made it, they have hit the lottery for parents and their childhood has all the best memories, get them their own carry-on luggage with a custom luggage tag, a Polaroid camera with film. Remember, that's a little bit more of an investment, but so cool, so worth it. A label maker, so cool, with the film that it takes. Beware, it'll be a whole thing, but it's so cool in their eyes. And even their own houseplant to take care of. Not maybe something you would think of, but my girls both got to pick out these little less than $5 plants from Trader Joe's. One of them is still alive. But hey, they need these outlets to feel big and important and in control and the boss of something. And if you don't want it to be you, give them other options, like a plant to take care of. And when in doubt, I saw this on social media somewhere else, and it's genuinely genius. If you are not somebody who prints out a whole bunch of pictures and also not someone who is going to sit and be able to make extensive Shutterfly photo books for the year, which I have not since they were babies, then just tag a bunch of favorites, drop them in an album, print out one of each in a physical 4x6 form, and then get a really cheap photo album from like Walgreens CVS and just drop them in. And then, put their name on the front of it and call it a day. Super cheap photo album, favorite pictures of the year. Doesn't matter what quality they are. They will love that because then they'll get to tell you all about the things that they remember from what was happening, and they'll just feel so loved and so special. I hope that those have just inspired a little bit of creativity in you. Maybe you were jotting down some ideas as they came across, or you're like, oh, yes, my child would love that. Again, remember, Time with you is what they are going to remember. The feeling that you create in your home is what they are going to remember down the road. Most likely, like you, they are not going to remember the gifts that you get them every year, let alone almost most of their childhood. So don't put all this pressure on yourself that you need to be the best parent and get them all these things to make up for your patience the whole year. Just give them the gift of a parent that is patient. And the best Christmas gift that you can give yourself is knowing that you're getting the support you deserve and you're actually on the trajectory to where you want to be as a family. So if that's a conversation you are ready for, then you know how to reach me. Go ahead and watch my free training, Authentic and Unapologetic, How to Parent Strong-Willed Kids Without Threats and Bribes, so that you can break free of power struggles, guilt, and self-doubt. And if that really hits home, then you can go ahead and apply to work together and we'll have that conversation. Keep up your hard work. Remember how much it is worth. And in December, we will be sharing some episodes from the Vault so that you can make sure and just get caught up on anything that you haven't heard yet. And I'll see you in the new year. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Failing Motherhood. Your kids are so lucky to have you. If you loved this episode, take a screenshot right now and share it in your Instagram stories and tag me. If you're loving the podcast, be sure that you've subscribed and leave a review so we can help more moms know that they are not alone if they feel like they're failing motherhood on a daily basis. And if you're ready to transform your relationship with your strong-willed child and invest in the support you need to make it happen, schedule your free consultation using the link in the show notes. I can't wait to meet you. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. I believe in you, and I'm cheering you on.